Hi there, I'm Lisa. I'm negotiating the challenges of my early 40s. I recently joined my hubby Thomas in my heart. With his son João Miguel serving as a poignant reminder of love lost, Thomas bears the burden of his past. João Miguel is a young man in his early 20s who is courteous and engaging. In order to finish his education, he has moved in with us and is assimilating into our blended family. The process of adjusting to this new life has been turbulent, but our relationships have grown stronger in surprising ways. I want to share a special memory with you today, a day that was supposed to be ordinary but ended up being extraordinary. João Miguel and I were left in our own world on a sunny Saturday morning when Thomas left for a weekend work trip. I began to feel a rising sense of gratitude for the family we were becoming. I started doing the routine chores around the house as the well-known tunes engulfed me, each note igniting a deep-seated emotion in me. An ordinary day was turned into a tapestry of unsaid truths and secret desires as the sunlight streamed through the windows, creating a warm glow that evoked something deep inside. I put on a relaxed outfit that was ideal for a day of cleaning, a flirtatious short skirt and a breezy tank top. Even though I knew João Miguel was home, he frequently took long weekend sleeps, so I thought I had plenty of time before we crossed paths. I was lost in a moment that felt both familiar and excitingly new as I swayed to the music and moved across the living room, my hands softly touching the shelves and gently cleaning the surfaces. I had no idea that someone else was keeping a close eye on me. Suddenly, as if something long concealed had come to life just over my shoulder, a narcotic awareness swept over me. João Miguel was standing in the doorway, his presence acting as a magnet on the threshold when I turned to look behind me. His eyes locked with mine, displaying a strange mixture of surprise and curiosity that roused something inside of me. I smiled warmly at him, trying to ignore the faint shudder of weakness in my body. "Good morning, João Miguel," I muttered, my voice tinged with want. Breaking out of his profound trance, he blinked and smiled subtly with longing. "Good morning," he said, but his gaze remained on me, moving across the room before returning to mine. I knew he had a secret inside, yet he hung in doubt, he hung in the dark, his eyes following every step I took while I worked. I experienced an unanticipated moment of understanding, as if we really understood one another, which set off a chain reaction of feelings that I was unable to control. The quiet of the house and the soft morning light surrounded us, creating a hallowed environment in which we seemed to be the only people in the world. As João Miguel approached, he observed me moving around the room with a contemplative look on his face. I sensed a change in the air as I dusted the upper shelves, a magnetic draw. My heart pounded as his sharp eyes lingered on me, but I continued to talk casually about his academics and weekend plans despite the weight of unsaid feelings circling between us. He answered thoughtfully, but it seemed like his thoughts were elsewhere. My skirt fluttered up, giving a touch of vulnerability as I reached for the photo frame sitting on the intoxicated shelf. He was observing me when I turned to look at him, his eyes widening before he quickly averted his gaze. I was overcome with an intoxicating thrill that I was unable to control. I felt the ground give way under me in that little instant, and I was left wobbling backwards in a tornado of unanticipated feelings. João Miguel's strong hold held me in place, and his touch was a combination of tenderness and determination. In that brief moment when our eyes met, a surge of sudden familiarity swept between us, sparking an exhilarating yet forbidden flame. His fingertips grazed my waist, and the intensity of his eyes filled me with a feeling I had never felt before. The air crackled with an intensity that was impossible to deny, an indisputable sensation of change hovered between us this morning, and he said, "It's all right," his voice trembling with wordless need. An unspoken agreement went between us, and a slight alteration persisted in the silence of that house. He stayed close to me throughout the morning, offering to help with the cleaning, a subtle intimacy that sparked something inside of me. The quiet energy that flickered in the air between us grew stronger with each touch of flesh and each fleeting glance. After finishing the things I suggested, we take a brief break to give ourselves a brief reprieve from the routine. We sat on the couch, the cold coffee in our hands, in a stillness thicker than ever, as though we were both struggling with the unsaid change in our relationship. His steady look suggested hidden truths that touched something deep within of me, and as I met his eyes, a warmth surrounded me. "Does this lazy Saturday feel good to you?" I tried to lighten the mood by speaking softly and using my grin as a thin line to cover the weight of unsaid emotions. He stated, "It's a pleasure to share moments like this." I was reassured of our developing relationship by the warmth in his voice. His remarks sparked an inner need that I had previously believed to be dormant. His eyes had a genuineness and depth of emotion that went beyond the typical ties of family. I looked back at him, feeling the weight of his need as a wave of warmth swept through me. The silence that surrounded us was more than just a nothingness, it was a profound bond, full of unspoken realities as if we were connected by an unsaid desire. Spending time with a special someone evokes a certain feeling. I mentioned that there are moments when I feel like this house is resonating with a sense of emptiness that burdens my heart. It took me some time to realize how profound the sentence was, but now I can relate to it. The familiar hum of life diminished without Thomas, creating a hole that João Miguel and I filled in a way neither of us had predicted. For a period that seemed to last forever, his eyes remained fixed on me. With a glimmer of desire in his eyes, he gave in. There's a sense of longing and hidden realities about today. He hesitated, considering every word with a yearning heart. We seemed to be genuinely entwining rather than just sharing space. Something deep within me was sparked by the richness of his voice, which made my heart race and my breath quicken. It was just the two of us at that time, and we were surrounded by a world where the typical boundaries vanished, exposing a deeper bond that sparked a deep inner stirring. An indisputable flame ignited with every coffee sip and every quick look. My fingers touched his shoulder in that little instant as I lay back on the couch, setting off a spark that made my skin crawl. Although the experience was brief and unanticipated, it was unquestionably filled with longing. In a wordless recognition of the tension that existed between us, his body stiffened beside mine. His smile flickered with a spark of mischievous defiance as our eyes met. I tried to lighten the mood by teasing, "You're not usually this quiet." But I couldn't help but be enthralled by the indisputable warmth emanating from him. "Have I really left you speechless?" He laughed softly, his eyes glimmering with hidden desire. Maybe he answered with a playful tone that belied the intense need underneath, or maybe I'm just fascinated by a different side of you today. His comments stayed with me, causing a surge of emotions I believed I had suppressed deep inside of me. I attempted to laugh it off, but instead I found myself staring into his eyes, my heart pounding, searching for something more profound there. There was a gentleness in the air that captivated my spirit. In a vulnerable moment, I made the uncomfortable gesture of brushing a stray hair behind my ear out of instinct, which I couldn't quite get rid of. After tracing the subtle dance of our surroundings with his eyes, João Miguel stretched out and gripped my hand, his fingertips lightly brushing mine. We stayed there, his hand around mine, the warmth of our bond a faint promise, a silent understanding that we were entering a world of unspoken desires. I felt a rush of exhilaration mixed with an indisputable warmth that was both comforting and thrilling. It seemed as though we had discovered a secret, a moment meant just for us. His voice quivered with unsaid desire as he muttered, "Lisa." Something deep inside of me was roused by the murmur of my name, drawing me inexorably closer. I whispered to João Miguel, and he lingered, his eyes blazing with wordless want, surrounded by the intimacy of our shared breath and the heat emanating from our connection. "I've been dying to tell you this because..." For a split second, I was enthralled by the intensity of his gaze, my pulse pounding wildly, and my eyes being pulled in and unable to leave. We started to develop an unbreakable connection, a magnetic pull that made my heart race with both exhilaration and anxiety. I whispered, my voice shaking with anticipation, "You can tell me your deepest secrets." His eyes were fiercely focused on me as he inhaled. "Words cannot express how deeply I feel for you, Lisa. Your presence in this moment has revealed the depth of my feelings." A gentle grin has sprung on my lips, and my heart is overflowing with warmth. "João Miguel, this connection between us tugs at my heart in ways I can't help but feel because it connects with yours." Unbidden, the words spilt out of my mouth, and I felt a surge of relief and a delightful sensation of liberation. He moved in closer, his hands encircling mine with a warmth that chilled me, his breath blending with mine. His voice was heavy with want as he muttered, "I've longed for this closeness with you for what seems like an eternity. I wished that this moment would last forever because it seemed like everything was coming together just so, as like the cosmos was working together to reveal a secret. The boundaries seemed to have fallen away, revealing the intense emotions and strong connection that bound our souls together. When our lips finally met, I leaned in and ran my hand over his shoulder, my heart pounding. A gentle expression of the intense feelings we had both long suppressed. The kiss continued for a long time. It was an implicit bond, a profound understanding of the passionate emotions that had developed between us. João Miguel's fingers slid into mine, holding on tight as though he was afraid the moment would pass. Everything else vanished in this little moment, leaving only the calm embrace of what we dared to feel. I felt the steady beat of his heart beneath my fingertips as I traced the lines of his hand. I realized then how intense our connection was, and it felt so natural, as though it had been predetermined from the beginning. There was a spark of something unsaid between us as his fingers lingered and gently tucked a stray hair behind my ear. There was a depth of feeling in the soft touch, and I gave in to his touch, feeling a warmth that had long escaped me. "Lisa," he said, his voice full of want, in ways I never imagined possible for another soul. "My heart has awakened." As our eyes met, a spark ignited deep within me, making my heart accelerate. I admitted the facts in a soft whisper. "This is a moment that seems to have been waiting to emerge from the shadows." He nodded, his eyes glowing with a warmth that conveyed secrets and desires. "I am aware of how delicate this issue is, and I don't intend to push things too quickly. Nevertheless, I want you to understand how much I love you and how important you are to me." As his words encircled me, my heart yearned with want, and I clenched my fist, relishing the warmth emanating from his palm. As I confessed, my heart pounded. "João Miguel." My words were barely audible but packed with meaning, like a secret leaking out. "Something deep within me has been sparked by this unexpected feeling, and it resonates with an indisputable reality." We were caught up in a look that said 1,000 words, a wordless recognition of something deeper simmering inside of us in the soft warmth of the living room's light. Between us, a quiet beckoning persisted. Fingers entwined, we walked towards the bedroom with an exciting sense of anticipation. Only the quick beat of my heart could be heard in the silence as the gentle murmurs of the night faded away. The once familiar room changed as soon as we entered, taking on a soft atmosphere and being softly lit by the streetlights. As he gently guided me to the bed, I felt a great sense of respect and gratitude for the relationship we had developed. His eyes were warm and yearning at the same time, examining every feature of my face with a passion that made me feel something. He knelt next to me and murmured, "I've never felt anything like this." As I softly stroked his cheek and relished the warmth emanating from his flesh, my heart raced, and strong spark flared as he leaned in and brushed my forehead against mine, revealing the depths of our unsaid relationship. It seemed as though every breath and heartbeat had brought me to this beautiful moment, which was infused with an exhilarating yet forbidden intensity. He moved closer in the silence, and we both smiled knowingly, appreciating the intimate moment we had as a family. His hands closed around my waist, pulling me closer, a spark that was at once exciting and perilous. Everything vanished in that instant, leaving only the seductive warmth of his touch to embrace me. The sound of the front door unlocking abruptly broke the silence during our private moment and jolted us out of our thoughts. In a tornado of want, my heart pounded. The presence of my hubby triggered something deep inside of me. João Miguel felt a rush of terror as we hurried apart, our hands shaking with unspoken want. I combed my hair back and rearranged my clothes while surreptitiously scanning the room to try to erase the memories of our time together. I gestured João Miguel away as I hurried to open the bedroom door, trying to keep my cool despite my heart pounding frantically inside of me. With each step my husband took, the sound of his footsteps echoed around the corridor, growing louder. I took a long breath, hoping he wouldn't notice the tense atmosphere around us. He yelled out to Lisa in a cheerful, carefree voice, oblivious to the emotional upheaval that had just swept through her. As our footsteps crossed in the dark hallway, I mustered the courage to answer. Totally oblivious to the turbulent emotions that were building within of me, he greeted me with a warm smile and an embrace. I glanced over his shoulder and we locked eyes, a spark that was exciting and dangerous at the same time. He retreated to the living room, his face reflecting the disorder that swirled within of me. The brief time passed, leaving a desire that flourished in the shadow of our unspoken connection. A mask of naivete shrouded my husband as he talked about his day, ignoring the storm of feelings that had almost burst to the surface. I forced myself to respond, but my thoughts kept returning to the brief moments I had spent with João Miguel, times that deeply troubled me, tested my very being. With an unspoken tension between us, João Miguel stayed by the doorway as my husband entered the kitchen, and I felt myself drawn to him. An unspoken connection ignited between us as our eyes briefly touched. "We have to be careful," I whispered. If we lose our direction, the border we teeter on has the capacity to change our life. With a weight of unspoken need in his eyes, he nodded. Yes, he said, with a note of want in his tone. We gave in to the intensity of our connection as we were engulfed in a tornado of passion. Maybe we went beyond what was appropriate. The eerie atmosphere of that evening stuck with me in the days that followed. I was caught up in a whirlpool of emotions, a mixture of excitement, doubt, and regret. However, despite the distance between us, an indisputable connection persisted, hidden just out of view. João Miguel came up to me one day as I was absorbed in the routine chore of cleaning the home. His expression, which was a mix of seriousness and kindness, moved me deeply. We absolutely lost ourselves in that brief moment. He muttered, drawn to one another and longing for something more profound. However, there might be other options available to us. I nodded as his words engulfed me in a wave of emotion. Yes, you're right, I said in a soft voice. João Miguel, I have strong feelings for you, but I'm afraid of severing our family ties. A flicker of optimism shone through the depths of his vision, and his grin had a warmth that spoke of unsaid truths. He claimed that there is an unquestionable rush, a profound connection that knows no bounds, and an intoxicating freedom. A flood of realization swept over me in that little moment, confirming that our decision was, in fact, the right one. We had discovered a deep bond between us, a fragile intimacy that could have been better left unexplored. Life returned to its usual cadence, but beneath it a desire arose, a spark of connection that was both thrilling and perilous. However, the relationship we previously shared changed and became deeply woven into the fabric of our family, providing a strong sense of security and steadfast support. As the days passed, I couldn't help but be engrossed in the recollections of that evening, savoring the insights it revealed about my own heart, the complexities of love, and the enduring beauty of the connections we form, rather than longing for what may have been. Our family became closer that night, and I became more aware of the love and support that surrounded us. It also rekindled feelings I had long suppressed.